3, 2, 1.
Hello and hi, my name is NURUL and BINTI Abu Bakar. For our research proposal, we have come up with the title of Factors that Influence to the Mental Health Problems towards the students of B40 in UITM Kedah during COVID-19. So for the first one is research background. In this research is conducted during the rise of COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. In 2019, the COVID-19 pandemic or coronavirus began to hit the world. In Malaysia, after COVID-19 hit the world, the mental health most individuals were severely affected, especially the B40 groups. This is influenced by economic factors. Research on how COVID-19 impacts continues to be actively conducted. This study and report presents the result of a study that has been conducted to identify how COVID-19 impacts parents of B40 students UITM Kedah mentally. For the problem statement, the economic factor is affecting students' mental health because the pandemic has made their parents need to quit the job. Loss of income of parents has caused the student to find a work, and this sometimes can pressure the students because they need to work and study at the same time. Furthermore, this proven that economic factor can affect the mental health students' problem. In this situation, additional research is necessary to know whether economic factors can influence the mental health of students for B40 or not. In addition, we have conducted a research through distributing a Google form to University Technology Mara Kedah UITM students from all faculties. This is to ensure that the data are original from the students' perspectives and accurate since we are narrowing down to UITM students only. This paper intends to contribute to filling these gaps by focusing on the impacts of COVID-19 towards students with B40. For the research objective, first is to identify the factors that influence to the mental health problem on the impact on COVID-19 pandemic towards the students of B40. Second is to identify why economic factors can influence the mental health of the students for B40. And third, to investigate the level of stress that faced by students of B40 during COVID-19. For the research question, first one is what is the factors that influence to the mental health problem on the impact on COVID-19 pandemic towards the students of B40. Second, why economic factors can influence the mental health of the students for B40. And the third one is what the level of the stress that faced by students of B40 during COVID-19. For the methods of analysis, this study is based on the quantitative-based research. Data was collected via online survey. Distribution of online survey was conducted between 1 January 2021 to 16 January 2022 for the whole UITM Kedah. Prior to the distribution of the survey, the population determination is necessary to ensure sampling can be done because it interferes minimally with the usual flow of the research process. This study requires a low degree of interference. The questionnaire was likewise completed quite quickly by the respondents. We use a clarification sort of inquiry for our study since it entails learning about clarifying the research concerns.
For summary of literature review, we have independent variable and dependent variable. For independent variable, we have three independent variables, which is number 1, family problem. Number 2 is internet connection problem during ODL, and number 3 is academic problem. For dependent variable, we have mental health problem. Next is research method. Research design. We use a clarification sort of inquiry for our study since it is learning about and clarification the research concern. This research unit of analysis includes individuals, group, artifacts such as books, photo, newspaper, geographical unit such as town, country, state, and social interaction, health crisis, economic crisis, social conflict, as this research require input from students on what they face and perceive. As a result, the individual was used as the unit of analysis in this study. For sampling technique, for this research, the samples were randomly collected from the students in University Technology Mara UITM Kedah. As the population size is unknown, we employ a non-probability sampling where involve non-random selection based on convenience or other criteria, allowing us to easily collect data. In a non-probability sample, individuals are selected based on no-random criteria, and not every individual has a chance of being included. For sample size, survey were conducted on a random sample of from all UITM Kedah students on campus who were in the first to 8 part of the study. Because the population size is unknown, the sample size was determined using G-power, which is a significant addition to the area of applied research. G-power allows research to do a variety of power assessment and has an easy-to-use interface. For data collection, data were obtained from all students at UITM Kedah from all faculties for this study. Google Forms were used to produce questionnaires, which were then distributed via social media sites such as Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, and more, allowing students to be reached while reducing the likelihood of a questionnaire going unanswered.
Okay, after the past presenter present about the research method such as research design, now I would like to present about analysis and result in stage 1 and stage 2. Okay, so basically in this chapter, we will be discussing on the analysis that are conducted to answer the research objective. There are 3 research objectives that need to be achieved, and there were 3 methods of analysis conducted in this chapter. Okay, the following subtopic we will discuss the phase of analysis conducted. Okay, the first phase or stage of analysis was determination of goodness fit of measure and data, which is validity test and reliability test. The second phase of analysis was describing the profile of the respondent. So, for the first phase of data analysis is determination of goodness fit of data and measure, which is using validity test. Okay, the validity of a method is determined by how precisely it measures the thing is intended to measure. Having high validity means that the research produces results that correspond to physical and social properties, characteristics, and variation. Valid measurements are categorized by high reliability. Methods that are not reliable are probably not valid. To get a meaningful result, we need to collect data in a valid way and must measure what we want to measure. As a result, we can draw valid conclusions from the discussion of the data. In the test, KMO should be more than 0.5 to consider the questionnaire is valid. Based on the result of the test, KMO shown is 0.87, which is more than the valid value. This means that consider the result is valid. Okay, another test to measure is using reliability test. This test is conducted to check the internal consistency of the item measuring the variable with subjective measure. The variable of this study is a factor that influence mental health. Okay, from the test, the Cronbach alpha for variable shown 0.87, which is indicate the excellent level of internal consistency, considering that 87% of the item are of high internal consistency. None of the items were deleted. All items were used to compute the variable.
Next, we go through the second phase of data analysis, which is profile of respondent description. In this section, the multiply regression analysis was used to describe the characteristic of the respondent in terms of gender, cost, level of study, education status, marital status, family member and family income. We have collected the data from 102 respondents. Therefore, the percentage shown in all charts were based on 102 data. Okay, so for the first, we will look about the percentage of the gender. Majority respondent is female, which is 85% from the total. Okay, second, we will look about the percentage of course. Majority respondent is from BA246, which is 40% from the total. Okay, for the third, the percentage of educational status. Majority respondent is full-time student, which is 99%. Okay, next, we will look the percentage of educational level. Majority respondent is degree student, which is 91%. After that, we will look at the percentage of marital status. Majority respondent is 97 are single. Okay, next we will look at the percentage of family members. Okay, majority respondent has 5 siblings, which is 32% from the data. Okay, last but not least is a percentage of family income. Okay, majority respondent are from family with B40 status.
My name is UMMIBARAKAH. I'm here to present about the result and discussion in this chapter. We will discuss on the analysis that are conducted to answer the research objective. Three research objectives that need to be achieved, and there were 3 methods of analysis conducted in this chapter. The following subtopic will be discussed: the phase of analysis conduct. The first phase of the analysis was determination of goodness fit of measure and data, which is validity test and reliability test. The second phase of analysis will describe the profile of the respondent, which is multiple regression. And the third phase analysis was answering the research objective, identifying the problem of mental health, and assessing the level where multiple regression analysis was applied, and identify the factors that lead to the mental health. In the first phase of analysis, there are 2 methods of analysis edited. The first method is validity test. Validity test is important to consider the validity of the data collection tool when either conducting or critiquing research. It also shows if concept is accurately measured in a quantitative data. Validity is more difficult to evaluate than reliability, but is even more important. Data collection method must be valid to produce useful finding. Research must measure what is claimed to be measured. Hence, the discussion of the data and the conclusion drawn will also be valid. Okay, the second analysis is reliability test. It was done to establish the amount of consistency of the item used to measure the variable, and it was discovered that the item used to measure the variable where the regard trustworthy sign is the crown bar alpha indicate the good internal consistency. Meanwhile, in the second phase of the analysis, multiple regression analysis was conducted to describe the characteristic of the 102 respondents in terms of their 36 gender, causal status, education level, marital status, family members, in terms of number of siblings, and the family income. In this section, it revealed almost all of respondents answering our questionnaire is from the female student. The majority respondents also come from the BA246 course, while for the level of the study and educational level, majority respondents the degree student and full-time student respectively. In terms of the marital status, most of them is a single. For the family member, it revealed majority of them have a 5 siblings. Last is family income. Majority of the respondents having a family income under status B40, which means their income in range of 5K below. Moreover, in the third phase of the analysis, it revealed about the answering the research objective or hypothesis statement. Analysis is used. Regression analysis is a reliable way for determining which factor influence a certain topic of the interest. The method of doing regression allows you to accurately establish which elements are most important, which one may be ignored, and how this factor interact with another. From this method, we can conclude that all the hypotheses are accepted based on the finding. To
the chapter 5, in general, the finding of study goal are discussed in this chapter. 3 study objectives relating to the relationship between the finding and the literature review from the chapter 2 are explored. According to the finding in chapter 4 of study objective 1, the majority of UITM students believe that family problem, academic problem, and internet connection problem are the factors that influence the mental health problem as well as the impact on the COVID-19 pandemic. It demonstrates that internet connection issue a big issue because most of the students at UITM Kedah had internet connection issue during the rain that was identified by 39 students as their mental health factor. The second element that affects the mental health among UITM students is academic problem. Overloading assignment has become a component in mental health issue, and student has always been perceived as stressed individual due to the amount of academic workload that they bear. This problem was student by 39 students from UITM Kedah. And the last reason come to family issue, with 22 students claiming that not receive any allowance from their parents will cause to mental health in their everyday activities. Students with mental health difficult and less than 5K in the previous year, according to the finding in chapter 4 of research objective 2. It is backed up by the fact that 17% students are bothered by the parent financial problem, and mental health and financial difficulty are frequently intertwined. Last but not least, as we can observe from the finding in chapter 4, mostly students at UITM Kedah who have a mental health problem are mostly from B40 income level as compared to M40 and T40 income level. It found that internet connection problem become a major factor that contribute to the level of stress faced by students of B40 during the COVID-19, especially when they cannot follow up with their class due to the internet connection problem, supported by the finding that show 25 students have this type of problem during their ODL. Only experience learning experience as a student has become very stressful and irritating for the student.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Mama Aiman bin Nordin, and today for our research proposal, I will be presenting about the recommendation and also the conclusion that we get from our research proposal. Firstly, for the recommendation, we get the recommendation from our multiple regression analysis result. So we came up with 3 recommendations, which is the first one is use the time wisely, the second one is to upgrade the internet plan, and the last one is to contributing to the family by doing freelancing. For the first recommendation is to use the time wisely. The students need to fully utilize and manage their time during the 5-day class time and also the 2 days weekend time. This includes how they arrange their time, how they spend their time, and also how they categorize it. So firstly, the students need to have their own timetable. By doing this, students can follow a specific time frame on what to do next, and this will make them use their time efficiently. By being able to use their time wisely, this will contribute to the student because it will make them to be more disciplined and focused during the online distance learning and also the face-to-face classes. This will make them to be more punctual and alert on the submission of any assignment and assessment, and will not make them to be left out behind. And also this will help them to release some amount of stress and anxiety to forget and miss the important date given by the university. So using their time wisely also will help them to minimize the burden on the academic workload during this pandemic due to the online classes. This is because if they had planned and used their timetable, most of the assignment and assessment will be finished on time, and it will not be finishing all the work into the last minute. So for the next recommendation is to upgrade the internet plan. The internet plan surrounding the students during the online distance learning during this pandemic is one of the biggest problems faced by the students. The recommendation and the suggestion for this solution is to upgrade their internet plan. Unfortunately, this option is not available to the student who face the coverage problem. So this is because if the place of the student live had the internet problem due to the coverage issue, if they upgrade their internet plan, it will not make any difference from before, because the main issue is the location is not getting a good coverage on the line itself. So however, some of the students that have internet problem because of their speeds of internet and limited current quota of their current plan can use this solution. So, by upgrading their internet plan will help the student to get more stable internet connection, and if the budget of upgrading the internet plan is too much for the students, they can apply for the government collaboration with the Yes Telecommunication on the student internet plan that's subsidized by the government to help the students on the online classes internet issue. So, for the last recommendation is students can contribute to their parents by doing freelancing job. Some of the students are really struggling because of their family financial situation during this COVID-19 pandemic. So, if the students want to contribute and help their parents in the financial aspect, they can do some freelancing job to earn money. The online classes make the students very busy, and it is hard to work a part-time job due to the new restriction and new norms now. So, freelancing offers the students to work from home, and the time is very flexible for the student. This will not burden the student because if they can choose when they want to do some freelancing job. Doing freelancing will also help them earn money so they can contribute to ease their parents' financial situation. Lastly, for the conclusion, we managed to achieve and identify our research objective and being able to differentiate and also distinguish what types and category of student that is suffering on mental health problem during the online distance learning on this pandemic. Moreover, we managed to assess the problem and provide some recommendation and solution for the problem that faced by the students.